Hi Taylor, my name's Jay, and I'm making this video response because I want to go over some things that you talked about in your video, and I want to kind of call everyone's bluff and make a video response to yours, seeing as nobody else would do it. The three things you spoke about that make guitarists sound better, you said were the pickups. This is my Strat, by the way. The pickups, these lovely magnets here that you pointed out, the type of wood, this one I believe is alder or poplar. I've never really looked at it closely enough to tell you to take the neck off, which I've never done in particular, and the tuning keys, or as you referred to them as knobs. Now, firstly, the only thing on a guitar that should be referred to as a knob, well, probably be referring to me as a knob after this, but these little guys here, the caps that go over top of stems of tone pots, volume tone pots. These guys are the knobs here. Alright, so basically you, by now you've been told otherwise about, I'm Canadian, sorry for my accent, the pickups and how to remove them. Of course you do have to unscrew the mounting screws here, but you have to, on a Fender guitar, you have to take off the strings, so you can remove the pickguard, so you can remove the pickups. And then you have to cut the wires from the tone pots here and the jack and the ground, and replace it with the new pickups, resolder the wires to the pots, jack, and the ground that's under the bridge. I can show you the ground right here actually. This ground I actually have grounded to the claw of my tremolo arm, of my tremolo system. Looks like a lump of solder. That's a terrible solder job right there. That's okay. It does the trick. Yeah, so you can buy replacement pickups, but if your pickups are making a noise, and it's a relatively clean sounding noise, then you're fine. You don't really need to do that. The other thing you mentioned was the strings. Yeah, it was the wood that pickups the strings and the tuning pegs. Strings, yes, you said that a lot of cheap guitars come with cheap strings, which isn't entirely untrue, but in your case, your Squier actually comes with Fenders. Fender, I forget what they call them. I forget now. Anyway, they come with Fender strings. Fender, not one of my personal favorite brands, but they're certainly adequate, and they come on all new Fenders, including Squiers. My brand of choice being D'Addario XLs, 11 gauge. I like thick strings. You can't see it, but yeah. Anyhow, you also mentioned Elixir NanoWebs. Now, you might think that it's a great idea because your strings stay clean, the brighter tone, that kind of stuff. But when it comes to sound is basically vibration of air in a way so that your ear picks it up. Anything that hinders vibrations hinders the sound. Basically, NanoWeb strings are basically strings that are coated with an epoxy, a polymer on them that actually hinders the metal from rubbing together and causes them to be muddy. So really, while your strings stay cleaner because they have kind of like a PAM on them, like some kind of silicone nonsense, they also don't have the best tone because they're kind of muffled by this epoxy. NanoWebs are a little bit better than Polyweb, but still not the greatest thing. The best thing to do is actually to take, after you're done playing, after a good playing session, the best thing to do is take a rag and wipe down your fretboard like this. Like, take a rag and just go and wipe off the back of the neck, and wipe, if you want to, every individual string. And what that will do is it extends the life of your strings. Depends on how often you play, and how many oils how many oils come out of your hands, how oily your skin is. It's not a hygiene thing. It can be, but some people have oilier fingers than others. Yeah, so I can put a set of D'Addario strings on my guitar and have them be bright for up to 3 months, like you said your NanoWeb can, and I play probably hours a day when I get the chance. I do have more guitars, so the strings last longer. I can just switch to a different guitar, but yeah. Tuning keys. You said that the tuning keys on your guitar are hindering your tuning. So your guitar is slipping out of tune because of your bridge and your tuning keys. truth be told, there are less expensive tuning keys, more higher quality. Let's get over here. There we go. Higher quality tuning keys. But the thing is, there's not much to a tuning key that can make it that bad. It's got a gear, it's got a post, and it's got a casing and a peg, basically. And yeah, there's not much you can do to it. It's like a bicycle. There's only so many ways you can make a bicycle. But yeah, the main thing is how you put your strings on your guitar, how many wraps you get around the post of the tuning key, how tightly you wind it, basically, like the wraps of the string, and basically, if you bend your strings when you put them on, snap them like that. Basically, when you put on the string, you should give each string a tug, just to get the initial stretch out of it, and to make sure that the wrap around the peg is nice and snug and it's not going to go anywhere. And you're going to want to have 2 to 3 wraps on there to keep it on there properly without slipping, which might be the case with your strings. Or if you have more than 3 wraps, if you have a whole bunch, if you wrap the whole string on there, you're going to have problems with tuning in, the fact that it's going to be inaccurate because it's going to have so much slippage inside with all the different layers of strings. So that's a good point. But some good ways to make your guitar sound better without actually doing anything to it, no matter how cheap it is. Microphone here. There we go. Some things you might want to be able to do. You heard about the graphite thing. What graphite does is it allows more slippage in the nut area up here. You put graphite in the slots, it keeps the string from sticking against that, and it prevents breakage up here and down on the saddles, of course. And it also helps the string move freely, which helps with tuning if you have a tremolo system like a Strat or your Jag Master there. Also, the other thing you can do to make your guitar sound better is positioning the pickups. There's a certain kind of sweet spot between too low and too high that you want to get your pickups with your adjusting screws in. And the lower you make it, the more basically defined your sound is, but it's also quieter, and it picks up a lot more. It has to work harder, so it picks up more of interfering sounds from the outside. But the higher up it goes, the less defined it sounds, because what happens is the magnets of the pickups affect the vibration of the string, causing them to dampen, and it sounds a little worse, and it gets a little bit too high output for you, and it can cause the front of your amp to sound not too hot and making the rest of your sound bad. The other thing you can do to make your guitar sound better is the action of your strings. You can see here my action's pretty low. Basically what you want is, there's a sweet spot. You raise your action by raising your tailpiece on this guitar here. These 2 posts here, it goes up. Basically what that does is it changes the clearance of the strings and the frets. You don't want to be too high because your guitar becomes kind of clunky and the intonation goes off. Yeah, and it makes it sound terrible. And you don't want to be too low because you get fret buzz. But yeah, this has been my video response to your how to improve a cheap guitar video. And I just want you to note that you should take everything that you hear from your peers or from the internet, or from me even, with a grain of salt, and experiment for yourself. And don't stuff tissue in your input jacks, or in your switch jacks, because that's not going to fix it. Take off the jack, take off the pick guard, go in there and just make sure everything's tightened with a wrench on either side, and just tighten it like that. Or replace the part. You can buy them at Radio Shack for like $1, so don't even fret. Yeah, so keep super glue away from your guitar. Don't touch that. As long as the neck joint on your guitar is nice and tight, you don't have to worry about that whatsoever. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and make more videos, and read a lot, and play your guitar. Don't even worry about it. As long as you play, your tone gets better, because your hands get better and your mind gets better. So yeah, and don't listen to haters, because they're a bunch of haters. That's what they do. And they should be practicing instead of cyberbullying you on YouTube. Alright, I'm Jay, and I'll talk to you soon. I'm gonna go play guitar now.